Oh my gosh. Oh, these reviews on Rotten Tomatoes for Age of Ultron, they keep going down. Oh, they're in the low 70s now. If it gets below 60, it's officially rotten. No! Could it be that this movie I've been waiting for could be bad? Oh, critics. I see what you did there. I see what you did. You pretended like this wasn't a good movie. You pretended like you didn't like this movie, all so that we'd get our expectations low, and then we'd be pleasantly surprised when we actually saw the movie. Oh, critics. You so nice. Hi there, folks. It's Professor Thorgi, Aaron, and I just got back from the massive Marvel movie marathon where I got to see Age of Ultron, and I have proof for it here, because for anybody who went to that big marathon, we got these babies. Check this out. It is a medal with a spinning Avengers logo on it. This thing is not, this is heavy. This is not like some little cheap plastic trinket. I mean, it probably is a cheap plastic trinket, but this is a well-made cheap plastic trinket. I'm gonna treasure this thing right here. But yes, 30 hours of watching every Marvel film made. Holy cow, that was an experience. I went to the first one of these that they did, and it was just the first phase of movies, and that was an experience. It was like going to a rock concert for comic book geeks, because the entire group in that audience, we like unified into a team. Like whenever anybody started applauding, we all started applauding. Whenever anybody cheered, we all cheered. Now for the second movie marathon, everything I said about the first one is true. We were all unified, we were all united. It was a great feeling. Although for this one, we were also freaking exhausted. There were people falling asleep on the floor of the cinema, on the sticky, soda-stained cinema floors. That was hard to say. Like, people just passed out for entire blocks of movies. I myself even passed out for an hour of Thor 2: The Dark World, which might be my least favorite of the films, so that's okay. But still, yeah, this took a toll on us. For the next one, that's gotta be a week-long event. People are gonna have to use up all their vacation days, and they're gonna have to show these things just in hotel rooms where we all have a bed and we can just nap whenever we want. But yeah, amazing experience. For anybody who gets a chance to do it, I recommend it. And to everybody who was there at the theater with me, you guys were great. Except for that lady in the Deadpool t-shirt in the row behind me who kept cracking jokes throughout every single one of the movies. Listen, I'm sure that your friends enjoyed that. I didn't pay to hear that. Just saying. Everyone else, though, you guys are great. But okay, you guys don't want to hear about my theater-going experience. You guys want to hear about the movie. And yeah, I was a little bit nervous going into this one because I like to check Rotten Tomatoes. I don't check it that much because I've noticed that alters the way that I go into a movie. Like, if everybody's saying it's great, then I'll go into it expecting it's great. But I did check on this one, and yeah, it was getting fairly low reviews compared to a Marvel film. I mean, it wasn't like overwhelmingly negative or anything. Like, it was still very positive, but it was one of the lower Marvel films, so I went to this going, oh my gosh, no! I can't believe it! The film that we were expecting to be so great is not going to be that good. And half of it had its problems. The other half is f***ing amazing. Okay, let's start with those problems. Just get them right out of the way. The first 30 minutes of this film are kind of weird and jumbled, which I've noticed that with a lot of the Marvel films. A lot of the Marvel films don't know how to start. Like, they all begin just like, yeah, plot, whatever. Go, get into this. Like, the average structure of a 2-hour-long film is the first 10 minutes is normal. Then at the 10-minute mark, you've got the point of attack where everything changes. Then you've got a half hour before the start of Act 2. Then you've got like typically an hour, and then you have the final third act starting in that last 30 minutes. Marvel films skip that first 10 minutes. Marvel films are just like, yeah, whatever, just go with it, man. Fuck it. Everybody knows what a Marvel film is. And this one is no different. But before I continue, let me just say, this is my spoiler-free review. If you haven't seen the movie yet, you're fine to watch this review here, although I will be making reference to a couple of things that are in the trailer. So if you made sure to avoid everything, then yeah, skip this too. Which, by the way, if you avoid everything, why am I the source that you're deciding to trust on this? But yes, this one is no different because this starts off right at them going to Baron von Strucker's, which you saw that at the end of Captain America Winter Soldier. You were like, oh wow, I guess that's going to be part of the plot of the next one. Nope, that is out of the way in like 2 seconds. And that's kind of part of the problem, because you don't get really any introduction to Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in this. They don't get nearly enough time for their characters to grow and develop. They get a little bit. They do have like a moment where they tell their origin story as children. And it's like, yeah, that part is touching. I really dig them talking about the traumatic experience they had as a child. I love that. However, that is pretty much it. Like, it just skips past them because they're like, yeah, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, we all know this. Come on, get to Ultron. In fact, same thing goes for Vision. Vision does get a little bit of an explanation. He does get some good backstory, some good, like, philosophical stuff going into him, but it's not enough to fully develop him, to fully make the audience understand, oh, so this is what they're going for. And I'll even say the same kind of goes for Ultron. I mean, I understand what Ultron is in this. He is definitely different from the comic books. And by the way, for anybody out there who is still mad that, oh, in the comics it was Hank Pym that invented it, and this one they're making it Tony Stark who invented it, be cool. Alright, they changed something for the movie. It happens. It's happened to all the movies they made before this. It's gonna happen to all the movies they make after this. It's just the way it is. And Ultron is my #1 favorite comic book villain of all time. Absolutely #1 favorite. So if I'm willing to drop this, you guys can drop it. But yeah, Ultron in this, he also really kind of gets skimmed over a lot. Like, his creation just kind of like happens like that. Like, they literally go, okay, we got this much time to create artificial intelligence, montage, boom, done. It's like, no, you need some more development on this. And then Ultron, of course, he goes through stages. That's Ultron's whole thing, is that he is a character who constantly keeps making improvements to himself. And you see that in here, kind of, because in the trailers, once again, as I said, I'm gonna mention stuff in the trailers. In the trailers, we saw him taking that vibranium bath. We see him coming out and he's like got liquid hot metal just oozing off and he's like, yeah, I'm upgrading myself. You ain't ever seen that in this movie. Now, in this movie, he just goes, okay, here's the old model, here's the new model, bam. Never once saw that happen. Never once saw the upgrade, never once saw the threats behind it. In fact, the whole time that that was happening, he was working on another upgrade, and it's like, it was too much of a jumbled mess. I hate saying it, but when it came to Ultron's kind of growth throughout this, it kind of was a jumbled development. So yeah, I do feel like this had some story structure problems to it. At least the first half of the story did. After that, it all seemed smoothed down fine, and I have a theory on this. A Thorgi theory! Why am I stealing from MatPat? But yeah, I've said many times in multiple different videos that I fully believe Ant-Man was supposed to come out before this one. They started working on this thing back in 2008, okay? That's how long they've been working on Ant-Man, and they've had so many problems behind the set on that kept getting delayed, and I guarantee you, Ant-Man was supposed to come out before Ultron, and that was supposed to be the lead-in to Ultron, and I guarantee you that Joss Whedon worked on a script, and Hank Pym was going to be in there, and Scott Lang was going to be on the Avengers, and I guarantee you, he had to go back in and completely alter that first half of this movie so that he could go, alright, well, none of that stuff works anymore. Yeah, just take this out, and this out, and this out. Oh my gosh, alright. I guess that's what we're left with. Because yeah, as I watched this, I went, it's not that anything here is bad, it's just that we've got pieces, and you don't have the correct stuff connecting them. And it just kind of, as I said, it made that first half feel kind of jumbled. However, the second half, oh my god. As I mentioned, Scarlet Witch, Quicksilver, Vision, they don't get enough time, they don't get enough development. Hawkeye gets a ton of development in this. Like, everybody was promised, oh yeah, you're gonna get more Hawkeye, because Hawkeye got the shaft in the last one. Hawkeye did not get nearly enough focus compared to the other members of the Avengers in the last movie. This one might as well be Hawkeye and his amazing Avenger friends. And the Hawkeye that we did see in the previous one, I am a massive Hawkeye fan. I love Hawkeye. And the Hawkeye they had was good, but it wasn't my Hawkeye. Like, I looked at that and went, that is a brand new character that you made, and the character you made is good, but it's not my Hawkeye. This is my Hawkeye, and it was great. I love the Hawkeye they had here. He's not the stealthy assassin for S.H.I.E.L.D. that we've had in previous films or in the Ultimate Universe, and he's not the hipster, can't keep his pants up loser that the Matt Fraction Hawkeye is. Man, that's gonna get me a lot of hate, isn't it? I'm sorry. No, this is far more of the classic Hawkeye who is like, yeah, he's incredibly competent, he can be a leader, but he's also jokey, he's also goofy when he needs to be, but he's also got a heart. That is the Hawkeye I love, and he was here on the screen. And like I said, in that first half, it's kind of all over the place, but whenever they get a chance to slow down and actually talk with each other and actually develop their characters, oh my gosh, it works so well. It is fantastic. Like, there is a sequence in here in which you get to see each of their nightmares. And that says so much about each of their characters. I was just blown away by that. And speaking of being blown away, this one outdoes any of the previous Marvel films when it comes to action. Because the thing I've loved about the action sequences in previous Marvel films is that not only do they look cool, but they also say so much about the characters. And the action in this one not only says so many amazing things about the individual characters, but also about how these characters interact with other characters. I found it kind of amazing how this film was able to tell character development and character interactions through ass kicking. And the action is not just great, but it's also heroic. That's the thing about Marvel films. Marvel films are about one thing at its core. No matter which film it is, there is one thing that defines all Marvel films, and it's that it's okay to believe in heroes. It's okay to believe in people saving the day, and not just, you know, people in costumes, but also just regular people. All the Marvel films are pretty much about what Nick Fury said, I still believe in heroes. And in this one, oh my gosh, there is a moment in here in which, once again, I'm not spoiling anything. I will have a spoiler discussion, but I'm not talking about it now. But there is a moment where I almost started tearing up. I won't lie, there was a moment in which I felt like that little child inside of me and the big ass adult inside of me both coming together and just shedding a manly tear. It was amazing. And extending on that, you've got massive collateral damage happening in this. You have got city blocks, you have got entire cities just being wrecked in these fights, and the Avengers stop to save people. And I don't mean that they stop to go, okay, I'm going to catch this one person falling out of a building. No, they stop and go, we're saving every single person here. And I just looked at this and went, God damn, that's how it's done. That is how it's done. And I will talk once again more about this in the spoiler one, but I know I rag a lot on Man of Steel. I know I talk a lot of trash about that, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to do that. But I mean, there are moments in here in which it so closely resembles the fight from Man of Steel, except with the heroes stopping to save people in the middle of it, or stopping to try and get the villains away from the humans, that I just looked at that and went, I guarantee you, Joss Whedon saw Man of Steel, saw everyone's reaction to it, and went, I now know how to write Avengers 2. And I wouldn't be bringing this up. I would not be bringing this up if it was just me, but I kid you not, this is true. During one of the moments when the heroes are saving people in the midst of battle, the guy sitting right in front of me shouted out, "Take that, Superman!" So, Batman v Superman? Ball's in your court on this one now. So as much as I would love to keep going on and on and on about all the action and all the writing in the second half, I'll just finish by saying this. The writing, once again, it's that same witty and clever and hilarious tone that you have come to expect, because I laughed out loud so many times during this movie. But also, the writing is pretty smart in the second half, because they completely pulled the wool over my eyes on, I'm not going to say what, but on a certain thing in this movie. I was like, oh, it's clearly going to be this. Oh, it's not. Oh, wow. And I can't end without talking about Ultron himself, James Spader in that role. Now, as I said, Ultron's my #1 favorite comic book villain, so I had high hopes for this, and they were met. And this is a very different Ultron than the one that I know, because the one that I know is, yeah, he occasionally will make a joke, but it's a very dark, evil joke whenever he makes one. This one is far more jokey. He's almost smooth. Like when he talks, it's like, oh man, I could see myself talking to this guy at the bar. He seems pretty cool, except he's talking about genocide. The Ultron that I know is one that's filled with rage And he didn't get a lot of that, but when it came out, oh my gosh, it was well done. But most of the time, you can tell that this version of Ultron was created by Tony Stark because he is the second most witty and clever character in this movie next to Tony himself. And you know what? I'm okay with that because I was still able to look at this and go, this is still the Ultron I like, just with jokes. Which, if your character is starring in a Marvel film, there's gonna be jokes. When Thanos shows up in the next one, he's gonna be cracking one-liners, okay? It's just how it is. And also, I just gotta say, I love how this thing ends, because at the end of it, it really feels like we're moving forward. It really feels like an advancement. It feels like the next stage, and I love that. So yeah, to sum up, I think this movie's amazing. I think that the action sequences at the end don't just look better, but they're written better than in any comic book film I've ever seen. I love the character interactions. I just wish that they had, another half hour in that first half of the film to add more character interactions, to add more character introductions to a lot of the new characters that we got, because that would help them a whole lot. And in the end, that would have just made this a stronger film. I do believe that the original script of this probably was amazing. It was probably even better than the first Avengers, but you can tell that giant chunks of it were taken out, or they were told, you gotta shorten this down. But in the end, that still doesn't hurt it that much. So I still don't have a set rating system, and this one's kind of hard for me because that second half of the movie, that's an A+. That is hands down an A+. The first half, B-, I'd say. So putting those two together, I'm gonna go with B+. Honestly, I do at the end, I gotta go B+. I can't go up to that A-, but damn, this is a strong, can I make a B++? Is that a thing? It's my own channel, of course it can be a thing. It's a B++. Plus. But okay, so that's my review of Age of Ultron. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. Let me know if you like this movie. If you haven't seen it yet, are you looking forward to it? If not, then cool. I don't know what you should write then. But anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And come back later this week for my spoiler-filled discussion on Age of Ultron because, damn, there's some spoilery material in this to talk about. Bye, everybody!